Hello, students. Today, we're going to explain science in a very integrated way. First, science is divided into 7 little subjects. But science itself is also a subject, a big conclusion for the 7 semi-subjects. So today we're going to learn about science and its definition. We're going to explain science too. Unit 1. What is science? Science is a subject that explains how the world works. There are 7 semi-subjects in science. Using science theories can help us to improve our life qualities. In this unit, we will learn about what is science and scientific knowledge. Unit 1. What is science? Science is a structured way of exploring reality. It seeks to explain phenomena, uncover patterns, and predict outcomes. Unlike art or music, science relies on evidence, information that gathered through direct observation or experimentation. Its ultimate goal is to build theories that can help us understand how the universe works. Unit 1.2 Meaning of scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge refers to facts, insights, and explanations derived from systematic study of the natural world. Its objective minimizes personal bias, consistent results that can be repeated, and reliable. This knowledge allows us to explain phenomena. Example, why the sky appears blue, predict outcomes, how medicines will affect the body, solve problems, engineering bridges that don't collapse. Unit 1.3 Why scientific knowledge matters. It provides trustworthy insights that shape medicine, technology, and everyday life. It helps societies to make informed decisions, from public health policies to environmental protection. It also encourages critical thinking, teaching us how to answer assumptions and seek evidence. There are 6 pathways of getting scientific knowledge. First, there is observation, which we look at the facts and then to summarize some summaries. And after this, we need to experimentation, just like fair testing, classifying are all ways of experimentation. And we also need to have causality and explanation. We need to explain to others and to make them believe that the scientific knowledge is correct. And there will be systematic data collection, which you need to collect a big data rather than one little data that will maybe affect the real conclusion of the experiment. And after this, there reduction, which we need to build up the scientific knowledge, and they will be analyzed, which you analyze the facts. Doing good analysis is good. Minor problems about scientific knowledge. Science has limitations. It cannot solve all problems. There are 3 examples. How did the universe start? Could silicon life exist? What are viruses? Scientific knowledge is not always good to society. It can also be horrible when someone misuses it for some evil purpose. Example, people use anesthetic medicine as drugs that will harm our health. Humans' overpollution to the ecosystem have been making Earth's environment worse. Difference between invention and discovery. In knowing the definition of science, we also need to analyze the difference between invention and discovery. Invention means things that don't exist before but being made later by some scientist or inventor by using some material that already exists. Example, AGI was invented by Mark Evan Goodwood in 1997. Second, Charles Cowell invented optical fibers. Discovery. Discovery means finding or uncovering something that already exists but is previously unknown or hidden. It is the act of reviewing natural phenomena, facts, or truths through observation, exploration, or research. Unlike invention, which creates something new, discovery expands human knowledge by recognizing what is already part of reality. Examples include discovering gravity, DNA, or new planets. Discovery enriches science, culture, and progress by opening doors to deeper understanding and innovation. Example, the discovery of fungi kind, maybe like mushrooms and other things. Unit 1.6. Can science knowledge be wrong? Science knowledge is not definite and can be changed over time, because earlier times had fewer apparatuses to gather information, or maybe due to many political reasons or the people's misunderstanding. We can do more accurate experiments to obtain the new one and correct the former knowledge. Science and history link. Copernicus and Galileo questioned the Holy Roman Empire Church about whether is Earth the center of the universe, and other direct observations they have found out that the sun is the center of the solar system. Although they were abused horribly and exiled by church, their spirit of searching for truth and resist tyranny of for control is still marked in their hearts as a hero because they have changed. Science. Unit 1.7. How is science being divided? First, there is physics, the study of matter, energy, motion, and forces. Explains natural laws like gravity, electricity, and mechanism shaping technology. They can maybe help us to predict the future. Maybe when the technology is better. Chemistry examines substances, atoms, molecules, reactions, and transformations. Foundation for medicine, materials, and environmental applications. Biology explores living organisms, structures, functions, growth, evolution, genetics, and ecology. Explains biodiversity and life processes. Astronomy investigates celestial bodies, stars, planets, galaxies, and cosmic phenomena. Explains knowledge of universe origins and space exploration. Geology studies earth structures, rocks, minerals, plate tectonics, volcanoes, earthquakes, and natural resources. Reviews Earth's history. Meteorology focuses on weather, climate, and atmospheric phenomena, storms, rainfall, and global patterns. Supports agriculture and disaster preparedness. Social science analyzes human behavior, cultures, psychology, sociology, economics, and anthropology. Explains interactions and social development. There is also a subject called medicine, which studies medicine. It is between in the chemistry and biology. And now, I have prepared a task for you. Unit 1.1. What is science? Define science in your own words. I'll give you 5 seconds. The answer is, science is the study of natural phenomena and 7 divided subjects. You can answer more, but this is the most good answer. Second question. How does science differ from the other ways of knowing, such as tradition or physiology? I'll give you 5 seconds. Science is the study of real matter, and if you say that there is tradition and philosophy, it is only the mind of the people that made it, and it is only an invention maybe, but a mentally invention. Why is observation experimentation considered the foundation of science. I'll give you 5 seconds. This is because science is based on observation and experimentation. Observation first makes you know a fact, and then experimentation can make you to be very sure about the correct rate of the new scientific knowledge. Unit 1.2, Meaning of the scientific knowledge. What makes scientific knowledge different from everyday knowledge? I'll give you 5 seconds. It is different from everyday knowledge because scientific knowledge is the study of real things, and maybe everyday knowledge is not very complicated and maybe couldn't make our life's quality better. Why must scientific knowledge be testable and evidence-based? I'll give you 5 seconds. This is because if scientific is not testable and evidence-based, wrong scientific knowledge will not improve our quality of life and may be misused. The third question, how does the scientific knowledge evolve over time? Well, I'll give you 5 seconds. Scientific knowledge evolve over time because scientific knowledge is not definite and can change over time because of maybe the past has some misunderstanding of the scientific knowledge. Unit 1.3, Why scientific knowledge matters. Give 2 examples of how scientific knowledge has improved human life. I'll give you 5 seconds. This is because scientific knowledge improved human life because of the invention of medicine and many other things just like cars, rockets, making humans' life quality become better. Second question, can scientific knowledge ever be harmful to society? Explain it with an example. I'll give you 5 seconds. Yes, it could be harmful to society. This is because scientific knowledge may be misused, such as medicine can be used as drugs by some people. Maybe even doctors will give some fake medicine. So it will be very harmful and be poisonous if you use it much. Unit 1.4, Limitations of Science. Why can science not solve all human problems? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is because science couldn't solve all human problems because it has limitations. Some scientific knowledge we still don't know it. So we need more time to go to more observations and experimentation. So this can make us have more scientific knowledge and make our quality of life better. Second question, give 1 example of a question or issue that science cannot answer. I'll give 5 seconds. This is because that there are many things that science couldn't answer, just like do the 9th planet exist in the solar system, or is it made in dark matter? We still don't know. So we need more observation facts so we can know about this question. Third question, how can misuse of scientific knowledge lead to negative consequences? Good luck. I think you all know, so we will skip this question. Unit 1.5 and 1.6. What is the difference between invention and discovery? Give 1 example of discovery and 1 example of invention. How can discovery often lead to inventions and inventions lead to new discoveries? Why was Galileo's scientific knowledge considered wrong by the society at that time? How does Galileo's case show that scientific knowledge can change when new evidence is found? What lesson does Galileo's experience teach us about questioning established beliefs in science? How do expansion and discovery both contribute to the growth of scientific knowledge? Why is scientific knowledge always remain open to revision and improvement? This answer, you can find it later, and I will tell you. and you can have 1 minute to think about it. 没有啊，停止。Okay, time is up. And now, the difference between invention and discovery is that invention is a thing that is invented and is originally nothing. And discovery is a thing that is already exists because of made by nature or maybe the universe. And you can give an example of discovery and an example of invention. Discovery is like that the discovery of DNA. And an example of invention is that we can change the DNA of an animal to make it more stronger. This is an invention and this is a discovery. And how can discovery often lead to inventions? And inventions lead to new discoveries. Discoveries can often lead to inventions because after you have found an element, then you can discover another element by experimenting. And inventions, just like a new telescope, can make us discover a bigger planet, maybe far away. And how was Galileo's scientific knowledge considered wrong? This is because that at that time the church think that the sun and all the planets surrounded the earth, but then Galileo has some experimental things going out, and then he has finally found out the truth. But many people still believe the church. And how does Galileo's case that show that scientific knowledge can change when evidence is found? This is because that the church maybe has some wrong beliefs, but people will still think it is correct, and it should change. But although Galileo and Copernicus maybe don't have a good ending, still, at last, people had admitted that the sun is the center of the solar system. And what lesson does Galileo's experience teach us about questioning established beliefs in science? Galileo's experience teaches us that we should do more experiments and observations to define that whether the old scientific knowledge is correct. And if it is not correct, we should correct it later. And after this, we can also discover new scientific knowledge. And how do invention and discovery both contribute to the growth of scientific knowledge? It contributes to the growth of scientific knowledge because that discovery can make just like some good grass, which is good for medicine, can lead us that it's very many benefits. And invention is even better because it can improve even more because it is built by a good and more benefits. And how should scientific knowledge always remain open to revision and improvement? This is because the scientific knowledge is so definite and can be changed. It may be wrong in the old times, so we can just, if we find some new conclusion in the scientific knowledge, then we can just tell it to others. And there will be 4 questions, and you can later search it in the internet if you want to. And there will be a challenge question. A student is boiling water in a kettle. Steam rises and the kettle whistles. What scientific knowledge explains why the kettle makes a sound when the water boils? This is because that the student, when he boils the water has reached over 100 degrees Celsius, and then because the water will boil when it is 100 degrees Celsius, so steam will rise because the water has transformed into the steam. Of course, steam and water vapor has many big differences. Water vapor is more colder. Maybe in some places, Hong Kong, it could still be seen even if it is not 100 degrees Celsius. So we're going to talk about the water and steam and the water vapor later in the next class. The 3 stages of water and the whole unit of water. So next time, note to subscribe my channel, and then I will tell you more about science and other things. There will be even be physics and astronomy later, but we're going to first do the water. So goodbye.